Hello, everyone, and I welcome you all back to this another lecture in the Palo Alto Network Firewalls training. And we are going to talk about the different certifications that Palo Alto Networks has to offer, and there has been a visible amount of change in the certifications that Palo Alto is now offering. And I would like to ask Biswajit if he can continue with explaining to us the different certifications that Palo Alto has to offer. Welcome,
Sure,
Biswajit.
Zubair. Yeah, thank you. So, hope I'm audible and my voice is clear to all of you. So, Palo Alto Networks, as you can see, has been doing some dramatic changes from a certain time and to its various learning path offerings and certain certification offerings. Now, it's quite simple nowadays because the reason is there are multiple series of product lines which has been divided into different platforms. So I can see that there are certain products. When you scroll down this page, you have learned more about our products, and you can see that the Palo Alto flagship products has been divided into four different platforms. One is called as Strata, one is called as Prisma SASE, one is Prisma Cloud, and one is Cortex, right? So if you can scroll down a bit, yeah. So there are products as we have done our product discussions as earlier. So there are products which is under Strata, under Prisma SASE, under Prisma Cloud and Cortex, right? Because of that reason, the certification track has to undergo a change, right? Which is a very good thing and very innovative thing that Palo Alto has done recently. And I feel it is going to benefit a different type of audience based on their business requirement or based on their technical learning experience, what they get or what they currently have. So based on that, they can choose any particular track. So the tracks are, you can see just below, we have got prepare for a certification exam. So you can see Palo Alto has clearly mentioned that we can discover new career pathways and boost your professional credibility with Palo Alto Network, which is based on role-based certification programs. I mean, this is a fascinating stuff, right? That means, based on your uh, current role that you have, that you possess in your work environment, based on that, you can actually go ahead and plan for your certification. Now, talking about the certification path, so you have got four different platforms. One is foundational, one is network security, one is cloud security, and one is security operations, also called as SOC, like Security Operations Center, right?
Mhm,
So when you
mhm.
go down a bit, you can also find out, the respective amount of, certifications which is available under this belt. So when you click, let us say, when you click inside the foundational in a new tab,
All right.
yeah. So when you open that foundational certifications in a new tab, so you
Mhm.
can check that under foundational you have got couple of certification that is added, and one is Palo Alto Network Certified Cybersecurity Apprentice, and one is Palo Alto Network Certified Cybersecurity Practitioner. I mean, those two literally looks as per the name, very similar or very familiar, type of certification. So anybody can go ahead and apply for it, but make sure you have some sort of foundational knowledge. So if I want to look into the blueprint of those respective stuff, so let us say I want to talk about Palo Alto Network Certified Cybersecurity Apprentice, the first one. If you can click inside this and you can click on the data sheet, right? So you can check the data sheet over here, which has been recently updated as well. So the exam duration, is given here, which is kind of 90 minutes. It's all MCQs. The language is English. The cost is 150 USD. Price may vary, based on region or based on conditions. So we're not talking about price, which doesn't even consistent all the way. Now, what are the prerequisites? So you can see that. Can you zoom it a bit, Super? So it is good for all of us to um, view it in a better way. Thank you so much.
Yes,
So you can see the skills required. So basic knowledge of networking concepts, OSI models, TCP/IP models, protocols like routing and switching protocols, knowledge about endpoint security components, their various standards and protection, cloud security concepts, security operation concepts and functions, cybersecurity lifecycle, threats, etc. Right? Current and emerging trends in information security. So those are kind of basic skills that you need. Uh, but since it's apprentice, so if you do not know this, also it's fine. But according to me, doing Palo Alto, doing any sort of cybersecurity courses, networking becomes a very crucial role, right? So
exactly.
learning about networking is really important. So if you have networking knowledge, I would recommend you to go ahead and do the certifications. If not, then definitely we have our networking foundational courses or fundamental courses, which you can always refer to and get the best of breed knowledge from us. All
Exactly.
right. So if you, yeah,
Biswajit, I mean, I think this is the new way forward for Palo Alto certifications, and I guess this is the foundational is the one which every new person, I mean, who is entering this security domain can go ahead with these and start with these two certifications, right?
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So you can look into the data sheet of this apprentice, and you can check for the blueprint as well when you scroll down. So you
Mm-hmm.
can see the blueprint. I mean, I'm not be describing this, people, you guys can, just read this at your free time. But look for the different domains that we have, right? So cybersecurity concerns is to 20%, right? 20% weightage. Under cybersecurity, what all things are there? So differentiate between vulnerabilities and exploits. Describe the various stages of cyber attack life cycle. I mean, describe common type of cyber attacks, right? Common threat detection systems. When you scroll down, you find that every topic that you have over here, they're more of theoretical topic, not much of labs involved to it. So you need all those listed TOC with respect to theory, right? But for example, in front of me, I mean, if a person says, "Hey, I know DHCP theory, but I do not know how DHCP works," I mean, this is quite strange because you should have done some basic of DHCP practical, right? That means you have done CCNA letters in the backend and you know how DHCP works. You know DNS. You've done some configuration of DNS and you should know how DNS works, right? You should have done NATing on Cisco routers, for example, and you should know how NATing works. So yeah, if you have some prerequisite practical knowledge of those, this really becomes quite simple for the learners, right? So
Mm-hmm.
network fundamentals weight is 19%, network security weight is 17%, endpoint security is 15%, right? Cloud security covers 14% weightage, and all are like fundamental terms that you can check, right? So these are the different types of, table of contents that is part of this apprentice program, right? Although I'm not
Right.
describing a bit, but you guys can, read those TOC. And if you want to learn any topic, you can reach out to us, right? Reach out to us and throw us some questions. Might be we'll be happy to assist you if you correctly know the answer. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
So
this is
the next
the.
topic,
Mhm.
I think that is called as practitioner, or the next certification, I should say. It is the cybersecurity practitioner. And similarly, you can look into the data sheet of that as well. And let's zoom it out a bit. Again, the exam duration is 90 minutes, cost is 150 USD as of today. You get registered to Pearson View as a test taker. And skills required are almost the same, like the apprentice, right? So, yeah, almost similar prerequisites is given. When you go to the blueprint,
Yeah, I would just like to see the
so
blueprint. Yeah,
cybersecurity domain is 24%, which is a little bit increased, right? And some advanced topic have also come up over here, like
exactly.
AAA, like MITRE attack framework, differentiate between different type of botnets, DNS tunneling, motivation, yeah, some sort of advanced topic are part of the practitioner, right? So network security is part of 22%. Yeah, so you can see A lot of zero trust networking component like CASB is over here regarding IP, IDS, IPS, DNS security, SSL inspection. I mean, TLS process, right? How TLS works. Um, next gen firewall placement options. So how do you place a next gen firewall? And this, I think
Yeah,
we've discussed earlier as well, right?
yeah, yeah. We
Uh,
have discussed this in our course,
earlier course
basically.
as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when you scroll down, Prisma Access, Prisma SD-WAN, endpoint security, which is covering 19%, and you can see the different types of, endpoint security platforms that Palo Alto provides to the, users or to the customers, right? So you've got different types of incident response tools like EDR, MDR, XDR, and also Cortex XDR, right? Cloud security host is 19% weightage. And yeah, you can see the different, cloud native security platform, which is more focused to Prisma Cloud, if I'm not right. Yeah, 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 that is correct. So I can see 4.6, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Prisma Cloud is given here. So more focus is on the Palo Alto Prisma Cloud and making sure how to offer the Prisma Cloud security concepts to the customers. Security operations covers is around 16%. So where again the platform Cortex and the different Cortex platform is part of the SOC, right? Which is XOR, Expanse, XCM, and XT. Yep. So that covers the entire section for your cybersecurity um, practitioner practitioner course, right? Or the practitioner exam.
Exam, basically, yeah. So
Yeah.
basically,
So you can go back. Yeah.
what I saw is most of the topics here are basic theory, right? And this basically wants the student or the user to understand what Palo Alto has to offer in each domain, right? So
Exactly.
yeah, so this all
Basically,
foundational stands
people.
for that.
Yeah. Basically, where people will be learning the different, platforms of Palo Alto offering. Right? So, for example, Strata, which is part of more of networking domain, right? The word
Mm-hmm.
Strata is more of networking domain, like different types of firewall platforms, offerings, etc. Right? Prisma SASE is more of your Prisma SD-WAN and Prisma Zero Trust networking domain. Prisma Cloud is more of into the cloud security domain, right? And Cortex is more of endpoint security, incident response, and more of security operations center or SOC domain. So that is the reason, as I've told you in the beginning itself, that Palo Alto is more considering uh, to elaborate its domain to the audience in a better way. Yeah. So when you click on the next certification track, that is network security track. So you have got different uh, certification exam. So I think four of them. The first one being Palo Alto Network Certified Network Security Generalist. Then we have got Palo Alto Network Certified Next Gen Firewall Engineer. Then we have got Palo Alto Network Certified Security Service Edge Engineer, and our legacy one, which is Palo Alto Network Certified Network Security Engineer or PCNSE. And accordingly, the logos are also given parallelly, right? The
Yeah,
respective. When you pass the certification exam, you will be awarded this particular badge.
exactly.
All right. So over to you, Zubair. So you can actually describe the data sheet briefly for each one of them.
Sure, Biswajit. So let's go ahead and walk through the different certifications under the network security domain. And the first one that we'll look into is the Palo Alto certified network security generalist. I mean, too many networks in the name. So we'll just directly head towards the data sheet because that would be the source of truth. And this seems to be updated recently, October 2024. These are the new certifications launched by the Palo Alto networks, and you can take these courses through the Pearson view. And you can see the duration is same 90 minutes, and the cost is a bit higher from the foundational. even though it may vary depending on the region, right? Now, the target audience here, it requires the skills that is required is more intense. Obviously, you should be knowing a lot about the Palo Alto networks solutions, because this course would assume that you have done the foundational, or at least you have the knowledge of the foundational certifications. So, I mean, basic knowledge of configuring relevant Palo Alto network products like the VMs and the hardware firewall series. What is the CN series, which are the cloud based firewalls. Then you have the Prisma Access and all those solutions, right? So this is what is expected of you to know before you start this course. Now, if you look into the actual syllabus or the table of contents on this, which is more focused on the network security part. As a firewall, if you see in the legacy, what features can be deployed and implemented using the firewalls. Now you can see that it talks about the SSL forward proxy, SSL inbound inspection, and all the encryption and decryption using the Strata and SASE products. You have the content ID, zero trust, user ID, and zones, which is part of the 1.4 section. Now, it also has the NGFW and SASE solution functionality, part of the data sheet, which talks about the perimeter and the core security, zone security, and segmentation, HA, security and NAT policy implementation. So now here you can see it is getting more practical, while is the foundation was more into theory. Now here you would have hands-on on your products implementation as well as troubleshooting here. You will have to differentiate or explain between the WAN optimization and the zone-based firewall, path and NAT policies, monitoring and logging, right? And it has this section which explains the functions of Prisma Access. Even though I don't think there will be any what do you say labs in this, because I see that this is just an explanation of the Prisma Access. Uh, uh, Coming back to Strata, which is the panorama and the firewall, so I see a lot of labs and hands-on topics in this generalist data sheet, and there are lots
Just to
of
add here,
yeah.
Zubair, so wherever there is a term of explain, it
Mm-hmm.
is only theory,
Theory.
and wherever there is a term called as describe, it
Mm-hmm.
is theory plus labs.
Lab, yeah, exactly. So this is what I was talking about here. If you can
Right.
see only explain, that means it's just talking about the Prisma access with respect to theory only.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I see a lot of other sections which describes and explains lots of new topics which was not covered in the legacy certifications like the PCNSA and E. Uh, but still, the PCNSE is valid, and maybe in near future it will be legacy, and these will be the only certifications offered by Palo Alto. But as of now, PCNSE is valid, and we can go ahead and get the certifications from Palo Alto. Now, if you see section number 4, it talks about NGFW and SASE solutions, which is specifically focused on maintenance and configuration of the firewalls, right? Updates, upgrades, security policies, and all of that. Then you have the SD-WAN part, which talks about the initialization of the ION, and then you have the pathing and monitoring and logging, part of uh, which is part of the Strata. I mean the networking firewalls. Then again, you have the same maintain and configure the Prisma access, which is under this umbrella of the point number 4, right? Section number 4. I'm able to see this infrastructure management and CDSS. Let's see what is inside this. Maintain and configure CDSS, security policies, profiles, updates. So basically, you have different types of deployments and how to configure and maintain those deployments is shown in this, is covered in this whole TOC. Now you go to the sixth section, which is connectivity and security. This is all about on-premise, cloud, and hybrid networks. Right? Again, network segmentation, how you would do that, policies, how to configure the policies, how to do monitoring and logging, and the certificates. Maintain connectivity and security of remote users. So it will mostly, I think, it will cover the remote access solutions like the Global Protect, network segmentation, security policy tuning, monitoring, logging, and certificates. So yeah, so as you can see, the TOC of the new certification is far better than it used to be, and it has to be. I mean, it has included a lot of new features which are in the market as of now, and uh, a security engineer should be aware of all of these products and solutions. So yeah, so that was the Palo Alto Networks network security generalist data sheet. We have other certifications as well, which is the
So
next
the
one.
so the
Yeah.
difficult part is, the generalist should looks like an expert level,
Correct. Then
right? So there are
exactly, exactly.
a lot of the latest trends in technical world of cybersecurity. Like think about zero trust networking. Think about network segmentation. Think about network automation, right? So all those informations are presented in the generalist category, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Yep. So, which is a very good thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe anybody who goes for our course, like our course is not only meant for PCNSE, PCNSE track. So, though our course can be done by anybody, right?
Right.
And once they are done with our course, that means they have will have the right knowledge about Palo Alto and different products, what Palo Alto offers. They will have the network knowledge of Palo Alto networking, and also how Palo Alto can be implemented in different environments, right? So once it is there with the audience, they can then refer to any of the other track and
Right.
perform their certifications. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So let's briefly look into the other certifications what they cover. Next is the next
All right.
gen
So I
firewall
think we have
engineer.
done the generalist one, which is quite
Mhm.
extensive, and
Yeah.
let me go for it now. So yeah, so this is also in the similar month of October 2024. Um,
Wait a
can you
second.
open
I'm just covering the generalist. I need to go to the next
the
gen firewall
firewall? Yeah.
engineer, right? So this is the data sheet. Let me just open it up.
Yep.
And yeah, so this is the
Oh,
latest one
it was
only, right?
Jan
Yeah,
2025, which is very latest, and the cost is 250 USD. 90 minutes of test. Creates and views a text taking partner. And you can see the different, table of contents over here. So PAN OS networking, Palo Alto network operating system, networking configuration, weight is 38%. And it's more of configuring, more of hands-on. So layer two, layer three, all different types of, type of interfaces of Palo Alto, like Ethernet aggregate, management port, virtual wire, tunnel interface, configuring zones, configuring HA, both active, 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 passive, configuring link and path pointering, configuring different types of routing protocols, routing policies, redistribution, advanced routing engine, configuring global protect, which is more of remote access VPN solution, and working with the different features of global protect, like adding portals, adding global protect gateways, different types of authentication mechanism, split tunneling, the different types of VPN solution like IPsec tunnels, or knowing about GRE is also involved here. So quite extensive, right? So you can see in module one itself, which is what was the weightage? It's around 34%,
38, 38%.
38%, yeah, which was quite extensive. So I think in our course, most of the topics are described, yeah. So that
Exactly,
will be
that
the
is what I was looking.
yeah,
So
that will be a very
all these
important.
courses are almost. I mean, all these topics are almost covered in a part one and part two both combined. So yeah,
Yeah. So again, in module two, 38% weight, PAN OS device setting configuration. You will learn about VCs, most into configuration. So configuring VCs, where you talk about interfaces and zones. You configure virtual routers, logical routers, inter VCs routing. You configure different types of logging or log forwarding. You add some log collectors. You implement PanOS software updates, configure certificates, doing PKI integration, SSL TLS profile authentication, decryption, configuring on-prem and cloud identity engine, like working with user ID, configuring web proxy on Pan OS, integration and automation, where you install and install the Palo Alto components in different environments, like working with PA series or VM series, CN series, cloud next gen firewall, AI runtime security, use APIs to automate the deployment, working with any third party services to deploy next gen firewalls, like using Kubernetes or using CSP, Terraform, Ansible. Using the best of breed automation platform to deploy the firewalls, right? Using on-prem centralized management like Panorama, working with Panorama templates and Panorama device group, and post rule set, working with that, and build application command center, ICC dashboard, and generating custom reports. So the number of domains are less, but each domain is having better weightage, right? So you can
Exactly.
see there are only three domains, but it is actually more of hands-on, more of practical approach, and then as the name suggests, right, which is
Exactly. The firewall
engineer,
engineer. Yeah.
firewall engineer, and it is actually matching the role of a
Role.
firewall engineer, uh, and the syllabus looks fantastic.
Right. It looks more practical oriented, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So thank
Okay.
you, Zubair. And can we go to the next certification that we have?
Yeah. The next one is the service edge engineer.
So Palo Alto Network Certified Security Service Edge Engineer. So when you open the data sheet of that, it was also launched recently, December 2024. Exam is 90 minutes, 250 USD as of now. And you can see the skills required, again, most of network engineers, right? So knowledgeable network security, yeah, knowing about zero trust levels. So think like when if you have some basic automation knowledge like programming or scripting languages will also be helpful. All right, so when you go ahead, it's more of more of your security service edge or SSE, right? So definitely you will have the concept of Prisma Access, which is more of zero trust networking concept. So where you go with module one is Prisma Access planning and deployment, 28% weight, where there are multiple domains which is respective to identify and describe Prisma Access architecture and components. So if you go with our Prisma Access introduction video, so you'll be able to understand the what is Prisma Access is all about, what are the different components Prisma Access have, right? So this will actually give you a prerequisite idea, and then you can also dive into this particular course, right? So there are different types of Prisma Access routing, configure and deploy Prisma Access service infrastructure for getting access to your private environment, different types of deployment for mobile users, explicit proxy or deploying VPN client, configuring, implement and deploy Prisma Access for remote networks, configure and manage private application access. So you need to have a ZTNA connector for that, or working knowledge of Colo Connect service connections, which is a very, very important term, right? So if you know about what is CASB, so CASB and service connections are quite similar in nature. Likewise, configure and implement, identity authentication using Prisma Access. So you can onboard different types of identity providers, which can do SAML 2.2 authentication, right? Or might be doing Kerberos authentication, might be certificate LDAP or radius-based authentication, right? So those will be called as your IDP, and Prisma Access can be called as a service provider between which the authentications will be performed. So it is a very, very important thing for to begin with. And likewise, you need to also have the knowledge for configuring, deploy, and implement Prisma Access browser, which is kind of a third party application, or you can say it's more of for unmanaged devices, right? So more of unmanaged devices. Likewise, in module 2, which is weighting 30% weightage, Prisma Access services. So you learn about configuring and implement advanced Prisma Access features and services like working with app acceleration, traffic replication, IoT security, privileged remote access concept, configure and implement Prisma Access data security services. So more of, endpoint DLP or enterprise level DLP solutions that Prisma Access offers to the customers. More of working with Prisma Access for web-based threats. So how do you, protect any sort of user from web-based threat? Working with, uh, remote browser. I mean, the features that Prisma Access provides for this, it will be web security policy. So writing, a proper web security policy to protect your internet traffic or to protect your SaaS traffic. And also, there is another feature which is very interesting, which is called as remote browser isolation, right? Also, sometimes might be you've heard about from different vendors the term as cloud browser isolation, which is similar in Palo Alto as remote browser isolation. All right. So yeah, configuring implement policy for Prisma Access. So in different configuring security policy, configuring decryption policy, configuring QoS policies, yeah, configuring security profile, configuring and implementing user-based policy with Prisma Access. Yep. So in module 3, we go with Prisma Access administration and operation, where you go and manage and operate Prisma Access with Panorama. So how do you manage Prisma Access and the management interface being Panorama and the different, attributes of that. Likewise, manage and operate Prisma Access with Strata Cloud Manager, another way by which you can, control and manage and configure the Prisma Access environment or the Prisma Access Pro portal. Likewise, configure and deploy Strata logging services where you can, to uh, pull the logs to the local SEM or to Panorama, or you can do a log forwarding to any third-party syslog service. And likewise, maintain security posture in Prisma Access, where you learn the best practice assessment and know about the different compliance to manage the security posture. Likewise, you do have a troubleshooting section waiting 20%, so monitor Prisma Access, uh, working with the Prismax activity insights, getting into command center, getting into real-time monitoring and alerting, getting into user experience monitoring. So yes, this is quite interesting. So you should know about how to run that Prismax activity insights and generate a lot of monitoring activity for the user traffics. And likewise, troubleshoot Prismax's connectivity, and there are different, topics for that. Likewise, troubleshoot Prismax's traffic enforcement issues, right? So yeah, so four domains, or you can say four modules, multiple sub-modules inside this, and it is more of, the SASE solution of Palo Alto offering, more of zero trust networking solution of Palo Alto offering. So those of you who are interested to do the zero trust networking solution and get certified of Palo Alto, this is the certification for you, right? So I hope it is clear.
Yes, Biswajit. So this is the third certification inside the, I think, the Strata, right? The networking side, the service edge engineer, and the last one is the PCNSE. What I have observed is, as of now, obviously, our course is mostly focused on the PCNSE. But even though if this is taken out, our course will be still valid for these two of the certifications: the security
Exactly,
generalist and the firewall engineer,
exactly,
right?
exactly.
Because
Yeah.
it covers most of, or even though covers more, yeah, than the syllabus in these two data sheets.
All right, so let's go to the PCNSE, and we will be doing a brief overview about the data sheet.
This basically covers the
The EDU
courses
210 and
like,
the EDU 2,
yeah, 210,
yeah,
220,
20.
and so we have to go through all these three data sheets, right?
Correct.
Otherwise, there is a separate sheet which I don't think everyone has access to, but we can go to these links.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think
So I
that
think, this is fine. I know people can understand that. So I mean, when
exactly.
you see our course of, our table of contents, it will be right here.
This is the data sheet. for EDU
Yeah.
210. Again, it's taking to the login, so you
I
need to
think you
have
have to log in and get access
exactly.
to that. But that's okay. That's okay for time being. So what we can do is we can actually paste that particular um,
Anyways, what I
data
can do
sheet
is I
data
can just
sheet. Yeah,
upload the PCNAC data sheet here. If you just go and um, look for the PCNAC data sheet,
exactly.
so I should get it somewhere here. Hmm. Download data sheet. Yeah, so this is the one.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
So
it
90 minutes
yeah,
covering three different, EDU tracks of Palo Alto and 175 USD. Test ticker is again Pearson view. When you go down and talk to the blueprint. So yeah, the core concept. I'll just describe the major things. So identify how Palo Alto Network product work together to improve the panel services. Likewise, determine and access appropriate interface and zone type of various environments. Identify decryption deployment strategies, configuration of user ID, various authentication policy with respect to captive portal and global protect. Yep. So differentiate between fundamental functions that reside on the management plane and data plane. Define multiple virtual systems. Deploy and configure core components where configure the management profiles, deploy and configure security profiles, configuring zone protection, buffer protection, DOS protection, profiles, working with, high availability, working with zero trust provisioning, configuring AAA, configuring managed certificates, configuring different types of routing, configuring NAT policy, right? Configuring the VPNs like site-to-site IPsec tunnels, configuring different types of service routes, uh, configuring application-based quality of service, right?
right.
Configuring app ID, configuring global protect,
Decryption.
configuring decryption, user ID, wildfire, right? So all those stuff, web proxy, the term is panorama, right? Which is weighting 17%. So working with panorama, working with device and groups,
Then is the licensing.
licensing part of panorama. I mean, manage the firewall configuration within Panorama. So how do
Yeah,
you, add the firewalls and how to license the firewalls, etc., right? How do you configure the backups? How do you commit the
exactly.
firewalls, etc. Check the firewall health and status. Yeah. Manage and operate, which is around 16%. So manage and configure log forwarding, um, working with single firewall or HA pairs, and doing everything from Panorama, right? Working dynamic updates, working with dynamic updates and configuring dynamic updates using Panorama, manage HA functions. And last is troubleshooting, where troubleshooting site-to-site networks, troubleshooting interfaces, troubleshoot decryption, troubleshooting routing,
General
troubleshooting
troubleshooting.
resource protection, yeah, troubleshooting global protect, and
The
troubleshooting
policy.
policies, troubleshooting HA functions. So yeah, there are a lot of troubleshooting sections that has been added,
Mm-hmm.
right? And yeah, so if you have the working knowledge and configuration knowledge for those right steps to configure the right uh, topic, so you'll be all automatically understanding the troubleshooting part as well, right?
Right.
So this is the PCNSE track overall, which covers three different tracks or combines three different tracks of Palo Alto.
Exactly.
So when you go back to the home screen.
Wait, so this is the one, yeah.
Yeah, so we have got, the four different certifications, which is under the belt of, networking, right?
Networking.
So, which is under the belt of, Strata, or
Yeah,
let us say, actually not Strata, uh, under the belt
network
of, this
security.
network
Net-
security, right? Network
yeah, I
security.
mean,
And likewise, you have got the certification for cloud security and security operations. So let's go with an overview where you guys you got the idea of how to, go through the respective, certification track. So similarly, you can open those in a new tab and you can see that, under cloud security, the exam is Prisma Cloud Deployment Engineer. And you can open that and go with the data sheet as well. if you need to understand. And likewise for SOC, which is quite extensive. So for SOC, there are multiple certifications. Start with generalist, start with an XCM analyst, XCM engineer, remediation, detection and remediation analyst like VCDRA, and security automation engineer, which is PCSAE. So whichever certification path you are interested for and you need it, so you can actually go and click on any one of them, access the data sheet, go with the blueprint, read about the certification cost, and then prepare for it.
Yeah, I mean
Anything, Zubair,
this.
you want to add here?
No, no, that's all. I mean, if they want, they can. We have shown them how to browse through the data sheets and check for the skills required and the table of content. And this in itself is a completely different domain inside the network security, right? The analyst and the automation engineers, right? Uh, yeah, I mean, now it looks more
Yeah,
extensive. The
because this is part of the
certifications.
SOC. This is
Exactly.
part of the SOC, right? So definitely
Mm-hmm.
the domain is different. Yeah. So
Exactly.
people have to understand, at which domain they are currently working, and based on their roles, as the name says, it is role-based certification, right? So that is the difference what Palo Alto has made. All right.
Exactly.
So if you have
Absolutely.
any doubts, you can reach back to us. So me and Zubair will be happy to assist. But I hope it is very straightforward, very simple to understand. And yep. So thank you so much. We can follow our course and move ahead. All the best for the learning
Yeah,
and
and we'll see you in the upcoming lectures, guys.
upcoming lecture, guys. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye bye.